How to spot red flags. You're going to hear this from a qualified, certified man that is doing phenomenal work out here on this segment of It's Scary to Remarry. We have special guests with us, healing and mindset coach Chris McBride. How are you doing this evening?
A blessing and progressing. Every day above ground is a blessing. So this day is no different.
For sure. I want to jump into this red flag thing because, red flags, they can be subjective. But coming from someone who's certified like you are, who's dealt with a lot of people, I want to jump into this segment. And so the first question I want to ask you is, what should someone do when they spot red flags but already caught feelings?
Well, ideally, taking a step back before going into that question, ideally, you would want to date for compatibility and not for aesthetics or for arousal. So, ideally, you would want to have your non negotiables intact and clear because it's hard to hit a target that's you're not clear on or that you're unaware of. This is why King Solomon said, without a vision, people perish. So it's good to know what your non-negotiables are. So therefore, you are on lookout for red flags when they present themselves and you're able to identify them as a red flag. So the best thing to do is to avoid that whole situation completely and date for compatibility. Now, for a person that didn't follow that necessarily order of operations or sequence or syntax, and they did it out of order, and now they are already caught feelings for somebody, but they're spotting red flags. You have to really do tiers to red flags. Is it literally a non negotiable, or is this just a preference issue? So that's a real big thing is like people got to distinguish between what's a real red flag versus what's something that is just not a preference that you have. So a non-negotiable for me would be a person who can't take accountability. I can't deal with a person that just can't take accountability. A preference would be I like my woman who, what I'm saying, wants to be a homebody. Like that's a
Mhm.
preference. So if my woman decided she wanted to go out and have fun and all that stuff, I might not like that, but that's not necessarily a red flag in my thing because I know that that's just a preference. Now, if I find out again she can't take accountability or she's lying or she's not supportive to me and all these other things, those go into more of the red flag category. So it's not a cookie cutter answer. It's more so depending on the nervous system of the person. And that's going to depend on their past experiences, their childhood, family dynamics, all of these different things that go into it. So I would say be mindful, distinguish between whether it's a red flag or if it's not a red flag. Or if it's just a preference issue. But if it's a true red flag, then you have to ask yourself, can you love yourself enough to walk away from something that doesn't serve you? And if you can't, then you know the real work is a self-worth issue or maybe of impoverished self-image issue where you view yourself so low that you believe you deserve these low-level things, and that's what you need to address. So hopefully that answers the question. I know that was long-winded.
Oh, no, that was good. I no, love it because like you said, especially when you said about the nervous system and all that other good stuff, I love it because a lot of times when you are emotionally unregulated, uh, you can make those mistakes. People and their triggers,
Yes.
and even being aware of their triggers. Some people aren't even aware of them. They just kind of living on autopilot.
Majority of people, honestly.
Yeah, right. We're talking about red flags. So, what does that look like in terms of social media? So, what social media behaviors are immediate red flags?
Immediate red flags. And again, I always want to filter it through. Is this a preference or is this an actual issue? So real
Mhm.
issues that I see on social media would be following inappropriate accounts, engagement with inappropriate accounts. So if you're
Mhm.
liking somebody's stories or if you're DMing somebody or if you're even responding to certain DMs, a lot of women will tell it, oh, I got a boyfriend or I got this. But the reality is you shouldn't even be responding or interacting with any of these guys that you know or women that you know are coming at you of the opposite sex when you know you're in a relationship because they're just
Mhm.
wanting attention and engagement. And if you give them that engagement, that almost give them a sense of hope saying that they can get you. So that's a red flag. I would also say how she portrays herself or himself online could be a huge a red flag. And again, it's all about your nervous system. It's all about what is your preferences? What is your non-negotiables? But if she is sending certain things on social media, or if she's posting certain things on social media and all that stuff, if you can't never get a picture from her, but she always wanted them on social media, so all these other guys who's not her man can see it and all that, then those are some red flags that I see on social media.
Mm. Yeah, that's good. And I like that the fact that you said about giving people hope by people responding. It's almost like we can take another step because I did get you to say something opposed to just like leaving that person on scene or
Yes,
read.
and niggas will play the long game. So just that little bit of hope will have them niggas even having inappropriate thoughts about you for like a year, and they'll just still be waiting to play the long game with you. So yeah, don't give no hope. Starve all of that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, because and then they'll comment in the comments with the heart eye emojis and all this other stuff and just hopes of someone responding. Yeah, it can get bad out here. And the funny thing about that is on Instagram, for instance, like you can actually see who's liking people's stuff. Like it shows like such and such like this. So it's like you even want to put yourself out
And
there
you
like
remember
that?
early on in Instagram, they changed the notification area, but you remember early on in Instagram, like you could go in your notifications and like so now if you come across a video, you can see if one of your friends liked it, but you got to be looking at that actual video. Old school Instagram, they used to have it in your notification center. They would just tell you all the things that your friends was liking, and that would
Yeah.
really put people in a pickle because I'm in my notifications and I'm seeing every video all my friends liked, and I'll just be like, "Yo,
Yeah, because Instagram will actually send you stuff that your friends like because they're like, hey, birds of a feather, if he like this and this is
flock
your
together."
homeboy, yep, they will send that to you too. So yeah, Instagram be on it. Are there specific red flags black men in particular should be especially be aware of?
The accountability piece is a huge one, a red flag. Gaslighting should be something that black men should stay away from and be weary of because what the gaslighting thing is it's tied into reaction abuse. And this is all tied into accountability. So when you try to hold your woman accountable and she doesn't have the ability to respond in an accountable way, then what she will do is gaslight you to the point where you are enraged now and you are angry now. So now it changed from what she did that she needed to be accountable to and for to now it's your reaction to, okay, I'm back now. I had a phone call. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's your reaction to what she actually did as opposed to keeping the focus on what she actually did that wronged you. So a huge red flag that man, and it's again, I kind of labeled it as three different things, but a huge red flag that men need to be on the lookout for when it comes to women, I think is a complete non-negotiable, is if she cannot take criticism. And as a result of constructive criticism, we're not talking about the man that just completely abused women verbally and all that. We're talking about a woman has legitimately did something that was wrong and you are trying to hold her accountable and she refuses to be accountable. So therefore she'll, what Kevin Samuels used to say, the sign language. She'll shame you. She'll insult you. She'll guilt trip you. She'll just need to be right. So she's taking all these examples that ain't relevant at all just so she can make herself right in this particular situation. And in turn, now you find yourself getting enraged and you're about to lose control. You're about to step outside of your square. And as a black man, you know, when things get elevated, you're automatically going to be wrong. If police get called, you're the one that's going to go to jail. So you have to be mindful. You could lose your job. You could lose kids. You could lose all of these other things. You could lose your life. So it's important to not even deal with a woman that is going to constantly point at you like you do this, you do this, you do this, and completely refuse to see what she's actually doing. So I'll say a number one red flag that a man should never bend on. I don't care what other good qualities she has, is if she does not have the ability to be accountable.
Mm-hmm, hmm. Yeah, and also too, and even like you talked about before about being regulated, right? Because sometimes guys they can't get into that verbal, that verbal taekwondo with the woman, if you will, and he's losing the battle, and she got one up on him, and then that's when stuff start going left. And so it's important
Facts.
to have that self-regulation where, you know what, this isn't really about me, this is about you, this is more of a personal thing, and you don't have to carry all of that, you don't have to take all of that. Now it's one thing, you're having a conversation and it's amicable, but you have to be aware of your feelings and your emotions because, like I say, it just takes one word, one conversation, and then it's over.
I
So,
agree. And I always tell men that you want to have self-awareness to gauge when you are losing control. So if we're
mhm,
talking about the emotion of anger, and
mhm,
0 is again you being completely calm, and 10 is like the most angered that you could possibly even be. And let's just say from, a 7 is what scares your family though. So you don't even got to get to a 10 to scare them. You just get to a 7. So
mhm,
you want to have the internal awareness to be, when am I getting to a 5? Or when am I getting to a 4? I don't even let myself get to a 7. I end the conversation at 5. When I realize I'm starting to get to a 5, I don't give a fuck what she talking about. I'm about to remove myself from the situation because I know if I get to 7, I'm going to either scare her, or I'm going to ruin this relationship, or I'm going to do something that's going to put me in a bad position, or I'm going to do something that I regret. So I need to be aware of when I'm okay, I'm at 1. Okay, I'm at 3 now. All right, I'm at 4. I'm elevating. Now I'm at 5. You know what? I got to pause this situation and I got to remove. I don't give a fuck what's going on. I'm a Kappa. And so we follow Robert rules of order in college. And one of the things that when we are stuck on a topic and we can't seem to progress, we table it, which basically means we stop talking about the shit, we talk about something else, and then next week at the meeting is when we'll open it back up. But while it's tabled, we don't talk about this shit at all. So we're letting time pass where people giving people a chance to change perspective. We're letting time pass where we're giving people a chance to emotionally calm down. And then we will bring the situation back up. But if we don't table it, niggas are gonna be in there coming to blows because it's getting too intense. So relationally and romantically, we got to do the exact same thing too. We got to be able to literally just table it and be like, let's come back to it another time. The issue with that is that people will table it and never want to come back to it. And you can't sweep it under the rug because the rug will get so much dirt will get under the rug that the rug ain't even touching the floor no more. So you got to learn to really honor your word and come back to it. Because if you don't, then your partner will not trust you to table it going forward, which will cause more issues because y'all will stay
mhm.
in the heated conversation because you haven't been trustworthy in your word to bring the conversation back up when you are calm, cool, and collected.
Mm. Cause I was gonna ask you, how did you learn that? Was that in college? Because I think we don't talk enough to men about emotional regulation. I mean, we hear it, but to actually put it into practice when you start to feel it. I know, like for me personally, like when I start to feel something like right here, uh, I'm just like, okay, it's about that time. Like I know it's right here. So was that something that you learned in college, or somebody, like, where did you learn that from?
Well, it's almost like how you hear how women can behave perfectly in front of their boss, but then they get home and they'll act terribly in front of their husbands. It's almost the same concept where it's like I knew it from a professional standpoint, but I never knew to apply it in my personal relationships until I got much older.
Mm,
And then just parallels started to come and all that. And honestly, talking to you, this is my first time even saying out loud the whole Robert Rules of Order thing and all that. So
mm.
I guess I unintentionally just applied it to romantic relationships. But yeah, I think it's kind of like how a lot of us struggle with in certain environments. We know how to control ourselves and we know how to respond to criticism and we know how to be reprimanded and still stay cool, calm, and collected and control ourselves and stay regulated and all that professionally. But then when it comes to that personal stuff, that's a more of a uphill battle, a more challenge that we face. So yeah, it's the same thing. I kind of knew it professionally, but then it was many, many like 10, 12 years later that I started to apply it relationally.
Okay, we kind of stuck here. Where I'm stuck here for a second now because you said something really good, and now I'm just like, okay, I need to know. And so, are you saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we have it in us? It's just is it more like a respect thing?
It is a respect thing, and it's a value thing. Because your paycheck is tied to your livelihood, you control that. And that's what women don't tend to get when it comes to how you can control your tongue, your mood. You can get reprimanded by your boss, and you don't get into these childish, nonverbal behaviors that you'll do at home because you will get fired. And you care about paying your bills. You care about not having to depend on a nigga or a man. So therefore, you're motivated when that boss come and he tell you what to do. Same thing when it comes to us though. It's like if you know that, especially as a man, women got more allowances when it comes to being homeless. A nigga can be homeless quick and niggas ain't gonna really feel sorry about that. So with that mindset, it's just like we value that. And the unfortunate thing is that whether consciously or unconsciously, we really don't value the relationships we're in because we're like, these people should really get the worst versions of me while the people at the job get the best versions of me. Whole time, if something happens to you, the people at the job don't give a fuck about you. I remember my youngest cousin Dee Dee, she had died a couple days before her high school graduation because of toxic shock. And we had went down to Alabama for my older uncle's funeral. He was like 85. Everybody was expecting him to die. But while we were at the funeral, like the next day, Dee Dee had died. That was completely unexpected.
Mm,
So my mom was on the phone with her boss, and she's like, "Hey, I know I was supposed to come back. I was supposed to, be back to work tomorrow, but my niece just died, and I'm gonna need more time off." Her boss literally was like, "So you can't come in tomorrow?" Like literally didn't give a fuck that she just lost her niece. Didn't care at all. But it's just like, so we will give the best version of ourselves to these people that literally don't give a fuck about us, while we give the worst version of ourselves to the people that are with us in all of those bad moments, that grow with us, that sit with us when we lose our parents, if we get evicted, if our car gets repoed, if all these things, if I get sick. We give the worst version of ourselves to the people that's with us through all those times. Whole time, the people that will replace us in the heartbeat, that don't give two damns about us, get our best behavior. And so we gotta flip it. So to answer your question, yes, it's in us. We just how we frame it in our mind makes it feel like it's different when in actuality it's the exact same thing. We have the skills. We just don't put value on our relationship the same way we put value on that paycheck.
man, that's so heavy. Yeah, it's an unfortunate truth because sometimes I will wonder, and I've been guilty of this, so I'm not above anyone. I've been guilty of this. It's like you could be, and I know I've seen countless amount of people do it. You fall out with your spouse or your significant other, whoever, y'all mad, and then your friend call, and now you good. It's like, how did you? You know what I'm saying? How did you go from 0 to 60 in 10 seconds just because you pissed with them and now they get the crappy treatment of you? Now you're on the phone with your friend. You know what I'm saying? Why not? Why can't
Yeah.
we? Why can't? And I know this takes us a long time, but it's like, why can't we reconcile before I even talk to anybody else? And that's
It's
just
this
off the
book
top of my.
called Getting Together and Staying Together. I think that's what it's called. Coming Together and Staying Together, Getting Together and Staying Together, something like that. About William Glasser, I think. And in it, he's talking about it's this interesting concept how with long-term relationships, and it's two different categories. So you have long-term friendships and long-term romantic partners. For some reason, our long-term friendships, like you said, they'll get the benefit of the doubt. They get our grace, they get our understanding, they get our patience, but our long-term romantic partners, they get the irritability, they get the disrespect, they get the doubt, they get our triggers, they get no grace, they get lack of self-control and impulse and all these other things that destroy a relationship. And it was that whole chapter was saying it's an interesting dichotomy because it's like they're both long-term relationships. And realistically, your long-term romantic partner is really with you throughout life, and they're really riding with you throughout the real bad parts of life. But for some reason, you give your friends the better version of you when in actuality your friends aren't really there for you when life really start lifing. So I don't really understand that concept either, but it's for sure prevalent.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I've been guilty of it. But I
Me
had to
too.
check myself and would ask myself, man, why am I doing this to my wife? Like this is my ride or die. This is my girl. And just because I'm mad, I have a temporary feeling she's gonna get the stone wall, or she's gonna get the cold shoulder, or I don't know. It's crazy,
And
but
that's why a red flag, tying it back to red flags that we should look for, is a person that does not want to do the work, does not want to heal. Because as you just alluded, our triggers don't really even be about the person that, for the most part, is in front of us. Like it's coming back from childhood stuff, from old relationships, and we are just making this person pay for it. And so it's like a red flag that you should look out for is like, how well are you working on your triggers? Are you just expecting me to just have to deal with a heart that I didn't break? Now, to some degree, we all got to do that, but it's nobody's responsibility to suffer us. So if I got a whole bunch of trust issues, I'm about to ruin this girl if I don't start to work on myself. Now, even if I work on myself, it's not saying that I still won't my issues, my unresolved trauma still won't impact her in a negative way, but I am minimizing the degree to which my unresolved pain is going to damage her. And then therefore now she has more unresolved pain. And in turn, in the future, will probably damage somebody else. And we keeping the cycle going. So we want to be mindful of people that refuse to actually do the work, because that is a sign that all of their anger will eventually get directed towards you. All of their triggers will eventually get directed towards you. So you want to make sure that they are doing the work to try to get, you still give them grace because you need grace. I don't try to get
That's
triggered, but
right.
I do get triggered sometimes. So I need the grace. But we want to distinguish between grace and enabling them. And if
Mhm.
they are people that refuses to do the work, you're enabling them to stay the same. You're enabling them to be a victim. You're enabling them to feel like that they ain't got to do nothing wrong, that just because something happened to them, that they can justifiably be angry or be depressed or be all these negative things that's ruining your relationship and all that stuff. No, that's a red flag. So you don't want to enable them. While you do want to have grace and patience, you don't want to be an enabler.
Yes, for sure. Man, and just like that, man, you have to come back
The time flew.
man, you gotta come back in 22 because I feel like there's so much that we need to unpack, man. It was definitely honor to have you on the show. I was on your platform, man, had a great time. I'm gonna be interviewing, I believe, your co-host as well. So she'll be on the platform too. And so I'm definitely looking forward to that. Yeah, so that's coming soon. Let everyone know how they can get in touch with you.
The best way is really if you on Instagram, just to go McBride Institute, McBride Institute. No the, even though my company is the McBride Institute, it's a different handle of somebody out there that got McBride, the McBride Institute. So it's just McBride Institute. You can shoot me a DM. I'm very responsive to the DMs. The DMs do get flooded though. It literally be ridiculous. That's how it can get. That's how this almost happened today, where it's like that message will get lost in there and I gotta go searching for it seriously. And then you know what I'm saying? It could if it take me a while to respond, please charge it to my head and not my heart, because I could literally get 50 to 100 DMs a day and it could get wild in there. And then I could lose track of a DM and not so, but I eventually always keep scrolling through till I find no new open ones. And then that's how I get caught up in my DMs and all that stuff. So shoot me a DM. I'm very responsive. Again, it just sometimes if it take me a while to respond, please do not charge it to my head. Eventually I do get around to every.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Brave Hearts community, you heard it here. So make sure you connect with the McBride Institute. And yeah, thanks again for being a guest. I look forward to us connecting and doing more content together in 2026. We appreciate your voice and all that you're doing out here because we definitely need the help. Stay online as we get ready to close the show out for a second. Don't shut the screen down yet. But Brave Hearts community, those who are watching, if you are new, make sure you share this video with someone. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. You never know who need this episode. Put it in your group chat with your friends. Watch the episode, then go back in your group chat and talk about it. And that way we can get these watch hours up. And if you are listening via podcast, make sure you leave a rating and review on Apple. By doing so, put you in a drawing for a free Amazon gift card. Who doesn't like free stuff? This is Sean Heineman, and this has been a phenomenal episode as we talked about red flags with my man, Chris McBride. And we are